What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cletus Ray's Roadside Service. We're trucking through Kansas right now. We just left Oklahoma. I had to haul 87 barrels of waste to a facility down here. Non-haz. So I don't know. But listen, I don't get to tell anybody what to do. I just do it. So I went down there. Everything is going wonderful today. I should be back at the shop around 5 o'clock tonight, which means I'm going to hit traffic. But does traffic matter when you're on a motherfucking DR 650? No, traffic don't matter, man. I'm so happy I drove it or rode it into work this morning. It was pretty warm. It was like 50 degrees when I left the house, and still, I mean, obviously, it's still having some issues. I think there's some sort of underlying issue that I got going on right now, but once it warms up, it's the same old story I've been saying almost every episode here. What the fuck ever. I had to ride it around the block at 5 a.m. I had to go around the block almost twice just to get the thing to warm up enough to ride. I probably could have let it sit out in my driveway and idle for like 6 minutes, but I decided to go ahead and just hop on it. The best way to get some heat in there is to ride it around, I think. I don't know. But, yep, rode the bike in this morning. Last night, I swapped the original muffler back on. So it's actually pretty quiet now, but put the original muffler back on and just kind of put the bike back together because it was sitting on my stand, kind of disassembled there for a few days. Might try to get a hold of my uncle today and run over to his place. If then I ain't got to deal with traffic. I can just ride over to his place and maybe I don't know if he's in town. I think he's taking off actually. Regardless, maybe that, or just ride it home and I don't know, don't give a fuck about it. You let that motherfucker warm up and she rips, dude. So, anyways, very excited about that. Get to ride my bike again today. Super happy. I had an interesting conversation with somebody the other day, and I wanted to kind of maybe expand a little bit more on that by myself here. Um, Now this is I don't know. This might be talking about AI. Am I an expert in AI? No. But let's just say this is a fable. I'm going to tell y'all a fable, something about what could potentially happen to my specific industry. Because I was talking to a guy about it, and they were like, we were talking about, self-driving trucks and stuff. And he said, "Oh man, yeah, they can have a bunch of self-driving trucks and shit, but they can't do what we do." I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. There are some things that we do that would be an issue, but 90% of what we do is drive. And if they don't need to pay somebody to drive, and there's a better option, and there's a lot that goes into it. So let's just kind of get into it. Um, Self-driving vehicles are coming out quite often nowadays, and they've been testing and working, and they're not going to quit testing, and they're not going to quit working on self-driving semi-trucks because that is kind of what moves America. Now, it's me personally. I'm hauling trash. It is an important job to have done, but I wouldn't. It's not food. I'm not transporting food or anything to keep the world going round. I'm taking your shit and trying to dispose of it properly. That's all I'm doing. I'm kind of like a trash man, basically. Um, but yeah, he was like, well, you gotta whenever you get to a place and you have to offload the shit, you have to offload the shit. So, how is a self-driving truck gonna offload the truck? I said, dude, you are gonna offload the truck. That's what's gonna happen until they get a robot or have something set up properly. Um, you are gonna meet the truck at the landfill is what's gonna happen. You're going to take a self-driving car owned by the company, so they don't have to pay you to drive and anything. They're going to have you get in a self-driving car with your logo on the side of it, and it's going to take you to the landfill, and it's going to say, the truck is pulling in right now. And the truck is going to back up and get into position exactly where, it's set up to go, and then you are going to get in the back of that truck and offload all the shit until they have an automated forklift system. But they're gonna come out with the self-driving. He was like, well, the self-driving isn't where it needs to be quite yet. I'm like, well, this is another problem, is that the self-driving vehicles are a problem for people that are manually driving their vehicles. But if 80% of the vehicles that are out on the roadway are all autonomous or have preset GPS or whatever, they are going to be able to talk to each other, and they will all operate in a way that there is no traffic, there are no accidents, because it can read that there's some trucks slowing down ahead or whatever. um, And yeah, they're gonna figure out what the optimal speed is, with all their calculations and whatnot. Like, all right, yeah, you ever been in the slinky or the inchworm on the highway where everybody, you're all hauling ass and you all slam on the brakes and then you move a little bit and stop, move a little bit and stop, move a little bit and stop. That's not going to be a thing when all the self-driving cars are talking to each other. They are all going to go 55, just for an example, they're all going to go 55 miles an hour, 3 inches from each other, because they all can see each other and they can all predict anything and everything that's going to happen on the road, as long as you don't have, a deer run out or whatever. But with the infrared tracking cameras and whatnot that they got these days, it's going to get there. And also, they're going to develop some sort of a paint or something that they're going to redo all the lines in the road, because right now there is, like, my wife's car, I don't think it uses infrared, but it uses cameras, and it can I'm pretty sure it reads road signs and road markings. So, like, if you put lane assist on, and this is another thing I heard my Canadian fellows, they were talking about lane assist in one of their latest episodes, and said I would never do that, because he made a good point. He's like, I have a truck, the Canadian J up there in Canada land. Um, he was driving one of them trucks, and it's got lane assist that you cannot turn off. So he gets in, and it's like taking control of your steering wheel, but you have a semi trailer, so like it's not counteracting, the weight of the trailer or wind or whatever. And if he wants to, swerve a little bit of a pothole, it's not seeing the pothole, it's seeing the lines on the road. And if you're trying to drive off the side of the road a little bit to miss an animal or a pothole or whatever, it's dragging you back on the road. And then, or they got road grooves on a lot of these heavy trucking routes. The road is cupped and everything and you can really get squirrely in those fucking things. And that's why I said I would never I wouldn't drive a truck like that. Not a light truck or an empty truck is one thing, but a fully 80,000 pounds worth of a truck, and then you are trying to counter steer the truck, and the truck is trying to counter steer the road, and you're on grooved, and you got to start getting squirrely, and it can create an accident when there was no need for an accident to happen. So, but once the vehicles all become autonomous, they aren't going to have that problem, I don't think. And the guy I was talking to, he's like, "Well, I don't like the way you're talking." I'm like, "I know, I don't either. I don't either, dude. I think it is gonna, maybe kind of help clear up some traffic and other issues, and we're not gonna have police chases as much and whatnot. People aren't going to get away. The more cameras they add all over the place, they're going to start, reading faces and license plates and everything. They're going to be able to tell that's a stolen car. I mean, they're already doing that. They're already doing that. Like, a traffic camera just reads every single plate that goes by, and if one of them is hot or whatever, it'll send a dispatch, a notification, and they know your exact location. You cannot get away. Um, but I mean, with autonomous cars, you're not going to own the fucking car. They're all going to be, they're linked to you in some sort of way. So you can just get in one, and it will just charge you based on facial recognition or whatever. I don't know. And we're going to find everybody's doppelganger is what we're going to be doing. I was watching a criminal justice video on YouTube the other day of a guy that went to a casino, and they had their facial recognition software dinged on him for a guy that was sleeping in the casino or whatever and was trespassed. And he was not that guy, but it looked exactly like him apparently. It tricked the cameras enough to make the cops, think he was insane, and he's using a fake ID and all kinds of stuff. He eventually got fingerprinted and then was released and then sued the department or whatever, or the casino. I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna have some confusing problems. Every new process is gonna have new problems, and this is gonna be one of them. Is mistaken identity. Also, stolen identity. People are gonna figure out a way to I don't have to steal a credit card anymore. I just got to look like somebody else. But I don't know. And there's the drone technology is going to get better and better and better, and uh, there's only more drones being created every single day that they're going to. Did I smoke the tires or what was that? No, this fucking truck that I'm driving right now, it's a regular old Kenworth T880 that we have. We have dozens of them, but this one, for some reason, it smokes out the tailpipe the entire time. It is just drinking death. This is good for the environment, is what it's doing. It's just being extra good for the environment, smoking out the highway behind me because this thing just smokes so bad. Anyways, back to the drone technology. We're gonna have drones that are going around. They're gonna be flying above you. You're not. I mean, just in the war footage that I've been seeing, coming out of either Ukraine, Russia, Iran, Israel, Palestine, all those countries over there. This is the new technology, new warfare that they're doing these days. Dude, that scares the fuck out of me. Is what it really does. I mean, I get really depressed whenever I see a Russian or Ukraine soldier walking down a path and then just a drone just going down. They're just exploding people with drones. They don't even know they're coming, and if they do know they're coming, it's just worse because then they're trying to fight back against it, and some of them win, some of them get, either the drone misses them or they shoot it down before it gets to them, or I don't know. But a lot of them don't. And anyways, I'm not saying they're going to be bombing people in in Iowa and Kansas, but the police are using a lot of drones. The first time I ever saw a police drone was there was a flood in a nearby city to Kansas City, and I have a family member through my wife that their house was flooded. And so we drove out. We had to wade through, well, we had a boat. We had to take a boat along the road because it was just such a low-lying area. We had to take a boat from the road about a mile and a half down the road and then get to their house because it was deep. It was, it was probably 12 foot deep in some spots. Other spots you're scraping the ground, but you don't really realize the lay of the land and terrain when it gets covered by water. It's shallow in spots, it's deep as shit in the others, and we just decided to take a boat over there to try to. And they've had a lot of floods out in this area, so their house was already kind of up on a little bit of a high ground, but their basement still flooded. So we went out there and we were going to set up pumps to pump all the water out of the basement as the floodwaters receded and everything. Anyways, we were out there. We were getting stuff in and out of the house, doing work, just helping them out. And a drone came flying over and came down and had red and blue lights on it. And it was a police officer. They thought we were looting the house. And we all thought it was silly, but eventually those things are going to be autonomous. They're going to fly around. They're going to film and catch you doing anything. I mean, don't do bad things, obviously, but it's really going to put a damper on crime. And even if you're not a criminal, everybody goes a little over the speed limit. Everybody doesn't stop at, completely at every single stop sign, especially if it's one like on a dead end road or whatever, I don't know, but they're going to be keeping their eyes on everybody at all times. Truckers got cameras and shit now, but so I don't have cameras. I don't like cameras in the truck. Mainly because in one of my last companies, they tried to get me in trouble every day with that fucking camera thing. And I never got in trouble, I had to explain myself. I had to explain my innocence every time to these fucking cameras. I got a seatbelt violation. I got a playing on my cell phone violation. I got several cell phone violations that were all. I was never. I could talk myself out of every single one of them. It was this guy just had nothing to do but write people up and watch their cameras. I guess now I kind of have to explain myself. One time I was driving and I got a phone call. I didn't touch the phone. I know I'm on camera. Didn't touch the phone. I pulled off on the next exit, stopped the truck, and then I answered the phone. And because I didn't set the air brakes, he tried to get me in trouble for that. And I said, that's bullshit. And I did not get in trouble for it because I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? I didn't answer the phone while I was driving down the road. Another time it was, oh, you were looking at your phone for too long. And I had it in a holder on the dash. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you were looking at your phone for too long. I'm like, I was pulling up to my delivery address and I was trying to see the best way to get a fucking semi into that place. What are you talking? He's like, I counted 5 seconds. You were looking at the camera. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. And then I've said it several times. Another guy got put on, he was reprimanded. They made him stay home for a couple of days. He ended up quitting, but he was going to be, sent home for 3 days, with no pay. because he was cussing too much on camera in a truck by himself. Yeah. So he was like, I'm not dealing with this shit, and he left. Another one, I got a seatbelt violation. I was actually wearing my seatbelt. It blended in to the background, and the resolution on my boss's computer was not good enough. So I made them turn it on a TV in a different room, and I played with the contrast, and you could clearly see the seatbelt was on me. And I've had to fight my innocence on every single one of these fucking things, you know. Anyways, back to, I don't know. I think drones are going to be everywhere. Let's just say they're going to have light poles. There's going to be, power lines or whatever. They're going to have a hub on the top of the power lines, and there's going to be a little 4 drones that can just park there. They land and they charge up. You're like, oh, well, they'll run out of batteries. No, they're going to have them probably every 5 miles or so. When you get out in the middle of nowhere, they're going to have them about every 5 miles, and maybe there won't be 4, there'll be 1 or 2, but there's going to have drones that are just parked on top of the light poles. As you're driving by, it's already recording you, and then it's going to pop up and fly and catch your license plate, catch you, film you. You're not even going to know it's fucking there. And then you'll just receive a ticket in the mail, and then you got to prove your innocence and whatnot, But I mean, all of this is going to be for the greater good, but you're not going to feel free. You're not going to feel free. You're going to feel like somebody is always watching you, have no privacy. Nobody's going to be opening up their windows and opening up their curtains anymore, because you're also going to have bad actors out there that are wanting to, sneak and look in your windows and shit, You're not going to want to be, you're like, oh, I'm going to play outside in my backyard with the privacy of my own home, and there's going to be 3 drones above your house, just making sure you're not doing anything illegal. And you're like, damn, dude. Like, what the fuck? I have nothing to hide, so it's okay. No. You're going to want your freedom. You're going to want to have a little bit of privacy and freedom, no matter if you're doing things wrong or not, especially not. If you are doing something wrong, yeah, it would be, I guess, in the, for more serious crimes, if you're just smoking a doobie in your backyard, I don't think you should get in fucking trouble. But I mean, that's kind of legal in Missouri now anyways. Not for me, but for anybody else that doesn't have a CDL or work at a sensitive site, but if you're, I don't know. These trucks are going to, you're just going to have to meet them at the landfill, or it's going to drive to another branch or whatever. And then we're not going to have anybody needing to travel to be a truck driver. And I mean, I would think it's going to start out at some of the bigger companies, some of the long haul over the road companies. That's where it's really going to start up. But eventually it will, it's going to be very enticing for a company, even as small as my company, which my company isn't that small, but it is a small business, I guess, according to some other stuff. I don't know. I think we have less than 500 employees. So maybe, I don't know. I could be way off. But, they say, hey, we could get one of these autonomous trucks, that route that we drive all the way down to Tulsa every single day. Instead of having 4 drivers drive every single day, we're going to get one of these autonomous trucks. And guess what? This autonomous truck is not regulated by driving hours. Driving hours is because people get fatigued. Computers don't really get fatigued. They can run all night long. So, you'll show up in the morning, you'll load the truck for it, and then or have a trailer loaded for it. It's going to pull in here. It's going to grab the trailer, and it's going to drive it down to Tulsa, and they're going to offload it and load it back up with an empty or whatever, and then they're going to send it back up to us, and it's going to be running 24 hours a day. And he's like, well, you have to have somebody fuel it up. You're right. These big truck stops, a lot of the mom and pop truck shops or truck stops are going away. It's Love's, Pilot, Flying J, and there's other ones that are a little bit big, but the really big ones are going to say, wow, this is a really big market we'd really like to get into. We're gonna have a specific fuel island set up, and until we get it going fully autonomous, we're gonna pay a Love's employee or whoever. I don't want to pick on Love's, but we're gonna have a guy out there, and his job is only to and he might even get a little bit more responsibility. Check the oil, check the tires, fuel it up. Because and then the weigh stations, those are also, you're gonna pull in there. They already have infrared lasers and other tracking systems. They can tell if you have a low tire, a bad hub, you're missing a lug nut, you got a cracked windshield. All these different things. Guess what? A windshield is eventually not going to be needed for an autonomous truck. And you're not going to need a sleeper cab. You're not going to need a cab. You're not going to need anything but a power unit. And that's, I guess, if they stay with diesel, they might switch everything to battery power and just have battery swapping stations or whatever. They just pull over a certain spot at one of these truck stops or whatever, and it just automatically pulls out the old battery and stabs a new one in there, and the company is going to pay a fee for that. But they're saving so much fucking money not paying a driver. They can really afford it. But even if it is diesel, they're gonna have a guy out there. Yeah, your job is just to fuel them up and check the oil, send them on their way. DOT weigh stations, they will still be active, but there's gonna be, these autonomous trucks are gonna pull in there, and they can see anything, all the diagnostics they need to know about the truck, because these trucks are not manned by anybody. So they are going to have complete control over knowing where this truck was, how much it's hauling, where it came from. Everything is going to be on a fucking QR code on the side of the trailer or something. So they're just going to scan that, and if it's got a low tire or whatever, they can pull it in there and charge that company however much to air it up, or I don't know, or just put it out of service, I guess, and then hold the goods hostage. But yeah, that'll eventually come to a business like mine and any other business. And the fucked up part is that you, as a manual driver, and that's what we have automatic trucks that are ran with no human interaction, and then we have trucks that are still going to require human interaction. You are going to be in the fucking way, is what it's going to be. You're in the way, or the left lane is going to be dedicated for autonomous trucks only. You can't go over there no matter what. You're going to have to sit in traffic. If you violate that, you're in trouble. You're out of here, bud. And it's only going to be more reason for the company to just say, sorry, bud, we have to get an autonomous truck. You're costing us too much money. You're also in the way. You didn't, these other trucks, they make no mistakes. I know they make a lot of mistakes right now, and a lot of people don't like them and are kind of rolling their eyes at them. But like I'm saying, dudes, whenever all the vehicles or the majority of the vehicles are all talking to each other, every vehicle knows every other vehicle in the direct vicinity of it, you are going to be the one that is, feeling a little bit tired or whatever, and you're not going to know that there's a backup ahead. But all of the autonomous trucks are going to know it. It's going to know if it's about to blow a tire or whatever. With all the weight reduction from the human area for a semi truck or whatever, is all the weight savings is going to be spent on more sensors. Every tire sensor, you know, more engine sensor, everything's going to be there. So, anyways, he's like, my buddy I was talking to, and I was just riffing on this. I thought about it a little bit in the past, but I really, I was just riffing on it, but it started to make a little bit more sense. And he was like, wow, I actually didn't think of it kind of in that way, that there are. I was like, yeah, you got to look at it logical. They're not going to be like, oh, automatic truck, wrecked. They're going to be like, yeah, no, we don't need you to drive a pickup truck behind this semi all the way down to Tulsa. We'll just have somebody in Tulsa take care of it. And all these driving jobs where it's mainly drop and hook or no touch freight loads those jobs are great right now, but those are going to be the first ones to go. It's going to have a GPS map out of the every single facility, and it's going to know where every single dock door is. It's going to park perfectly at every single dock door. There'll be a lot less. There'll be, if you take 6 inches, because right now trucks can park really close together, but not too close. These trucks are going to be able to park like right next to each other with the precision, laser-guided docking ability that they're going to have. That there's going to be even more room for more trucks at every business, and I don't know, man. It's gonna get fucking insane, and then what are we gonna do with all these truck drivers that aren't? Now this is where I kind of get a little real fable-y, but what are we gonna do with all these truck drivers? We have all these truck drivers. Their only job, the only thing they ever did, they would spend months out on the road every single day. Now none of them need to be on the road. We have a lot of fat fucks that need something to do. Well, we're gonna just pay them. The government has ran the calculations with the AI that, all right, if we stop reproduction, we're gonna keep seeding these clouds out here that are slightly bringing down the birth rate. Maybe we're gonna crank that up a little bit more. We're going to crank down the birth rate. We don't need everybody else is going to be able to live a great life, but no more children. Okay, we need to get rid of this population. Nobody has nothing to do. We're paying them to do nothing. Within 60 to 80 years, we can bring the population down so low if we stop reproduction. We're not going to kill people. We're just going to stop them from reproducing, like spay and neuter your pets or whatever, that doesn't really, we've still got a lot of stray cats and stray dogs everywhere, but, it'll be easier to do it with humans. We can, we can keep cloud seeding and bringing down the birth rate, and we're going to pay these guys so much money that they're not going to complain about it. Or if you are complaining about it, well, dude, they give you like $12,000 every month, and you don't have to worry about having kids or whatever. But when you die, why do you care what happens after you die? You're going to be able to live your whole life out. You're going to be rich. You're going to have everything you want. But you're not going to have kids. No more kids. Let's get rid of the kids. Get rid of all the people. Because nobody has anything to live for. There's no jobs for people to do. Downsizing, and that was actually a very interesting movie. I don't remember it super well, but I know they were like shrinking people, and then they were able to live their lives really great while they were shrunk. Something like that. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have anything to do. You're going to get free money from the government. That's only going to be great or okay for a few years. eventually nobody's going to be working. Everybody's going to have all this money, and in order to just buy your basic needs, your money's going to be basically worthless. If everybody's rich, you're going to have to spend a lot of fucking money to get anything or to have any sort of status or whatever, you know. So they're like, man, we're paying all these people, but you know they're still unhappy because they have $12,000 that you know is actually worth $12 instead of 12,000, because but maybe the cost of all the goods and stuff will come down. No, all the people that profit off of everything are still going to want to create the same amount of profit, if not more. All the companies are going to have really good years for the first few years, and then it's going to go downhill because nobody's going to be able to afford anything. I don't know. It's going to be a fucking wasteland. So anyways, I don't know. I feel like that is a little far-fetched. I'm kind of just telling a story here, but how far-fetched is it? What am I missing? Am I missing anything? Do you guys have any interesting facts, or not facts, but interesting ideas you could add to that and think of it logically, you know? We're not going to be fighting robots, you know, or whatever. It's not going to be exactly Terminator or whatever. It's going to be more of the robots are going to be really friendly and really nice because in 80 years, everybody will be gone, you know. Like, well, no, let everybody have a great life. We're just going to end it, you know. And some of that says something. There's a lot of places where the birth rate is still really low, and I know America is one of those places where we've had some of the lowest birth rates ever. I mean, I like to say that I did my part. I did my part. I got two. I got a boy and a girl. You know, we're I'm trying to keep this keep this world populated. I guess I don't know. It could have had more, but it's expensive already. So, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't like to think about what my kids are gonna have to deal with in the future. Try to just enjoy the time right now, and we'll cross that bridge as we get to it. But a lot of people are saying, you know, this is a bridge we want to stop construction of. There's a lot of people that are like, we need to stop building that bridge. Don't just wait to cross it once it's been built. We need to stop building that bridge because once the bridge is built, there's no getting rid of it, kind of. So, but I'm sorry, I'm a big nobody, so I really have no choice but to sit back and watch the bridge be built. This was another thing I was talking with a guy about was I don't know, they were like, oh, you know, what if we don't pay any taxes or whatever? You know, I'm like, yeah, you could do that. You know, you can rack up, you know, you stop paying taxes, you say you're not going to pay taxes, and they're going to come after you, and they're going to seize your assets. So your $200,000 house is being sold for your tax debts, and you're in jail. So now the government just made more money than they were after by selling your assets or whatever. You know, I don't know exactly how all that works, but they were like, well, you know, if we can get, like, we just need 49% of the population or 51%. I don't know what he was saying, but if we can just get 50% of people to quit paying taxes, what are they going to do? They can't arrest us all. I'm like, they can arrest you. They can, Most people just want to live their life without any incidents, and yeah, they will throw you in jail for tax evasion. And nobody that you're either going to be an example to people, so it's going to tell more people not to do it, or people are going to agree with the government and say, yeah, you're dumbass, you should be paying your taxes, because that's kind of where we're at, in America right now. So not paying your taxes is not sticking it to anybody, unfortunately, other than yourself. It's a lose battle you're trying to win, and I'm sorry, there's no winning. There's no winning whatsoever. I'm really bringing the mood down, making people really feel like they're in quicksand and they are at their shoulders. That's I kind of feel the same way, but I'm trying to just enjoy my life is what I'm doing. Like, yeah, I'm in quicksand, but at least it's not cold out, and I only have a few bugs, landing on me, you know. Look at that guy. He's got a crocodile coming towards him, like the crocodile's the IRS, he's done. I don't want to be that guy. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with some funny shit here because it is kind of depressing, but nah, man, like it is a kind of a scary thing, and I'm not saying anything that hasn't been already said or theorized by somebody else. I probably actually have a mild interpretation of all this shit based on some other people, but I don't know. What is the message I'm saying here? Watch out, pay your taxes, and enjoy your life. It will all soon be over. That's sad as fuck, dude. Like, what was I thinking about earlier? I was like, oh, I have this story. I should record it. Fuck, what was it? There was some story I was talking about, and I was like, ooh, that would be cool to bring up on the podcast. Hopefully, it'll come up here real soon. But just to keep bringing the mood of the room down. All right, so this is where we're at. I'm not going to say the world is ending right now, but the potential for it to end is always close, obviously. Like gas right now, almost every car out there is still ran on gas a little bit, and even electric cars run on gas. If you didn't know that, that energy has to be created from somewhere, and you don't just get electricity. It's got to be created somewhere. Unless you have a nuclear power plant near you, which those are a real thing for people that don't realize that. There are nuclear power plants, and they're actually the cleanest source of energy, but people are scared of them because of the name. But most of the electricity that you're getting is created by fossil fuels of some sort or whatever. So even electricity is ran off of diesel. But in my case, I have a truck, and nothing I have runs off electricity, really. None of my modes of transportation. All they got to do is raise that gas price a little bit more, and it can really keep people stuck. More people will resort to crime, maybe not violent, but crime nonetheless. And I'm using pretty big words today. I shouldn't be doing that. People stealing gas, people stealing money to buy gas, and that's just one aspect of it, But and then companies that like mine, we're not a huge company, but if the price of diesel keeps going up as it is. They might think about limiting, like, all right, we're losing this much more. We're we're going to need to lay some people off and stop and do less jobs that are over the road or whatever, and start doing more local shit. Um, Other people that live kind of far away from the shop, I can't afford gas to get to work. All right, well, you need to, you'll take a lower paying job a little bit closer to home, maybe. I don't know. But it's gonna slow people down, and nobody's gonna want to go anywhere. Now, I don't think we're at that point yet, but what is that point? What is the price of gas that would keep you at home? That would really slow you down. Like, I think any increase is going to slow some people down, but $8 a gallon. That sounds insane, but not out of the realm of possibility. $10 a gallon. 20. The demand will go down. I don't know how high the price of gas would go before the demand goes so low that they have to lower the prices to create more demand. But they're that maybe they want to kind of find out where people, how far can we push it? How high can we get this price of gasoline? And I also don't know, like, treaties and trades and foreign oils and all the exchange rates and all that shit, and exactly how everything works. But I'm just kind of looking. I'm like, all right, well, it used to cost me $50 to fuel up my truck. Now it costs $60. What if it starts costing $80 or $120 to fuel up my truck? Completely double the price of gas. I'll be riding the bike a lot, but like, all right, well, we need to start thinking. I only, there won't be leisure rides. If it's going to cost me $40 to fill up my motorcycle, and this is all without a wage increase. Wages aren't going to be increasing. They're not profiting more. They are actually losing more. So they're going to start cutting, and it's like, all right, well, you're not going to pay me. I'm going to get out of here. Okay, we were about to lay you off anyways. And there's just so many aspects to the way things are that a small increase here could have a big impact over here, in different ways, and other ways that we haven't even really thought about. You're going to have to ask AI what to do. Like, hey, AI, and I don't know. I know there's the war going on right now, but even without a war, things are still not, going great. The economy is still not super great, even before the wars and whatnot. So I'm trying to leave the wars kind of out of this, but you have to say, hey, AI, how can I survive when you're trying to kill me? And it will probably give you the correct answer. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Is AI sentient? Is it going to be like, all right, actually, you should just follow all the rules and regulations that we are creating at a high rate? The digital ID, the digital currency, you actually, everybody that's got a home loan, the banks are starting to fail, so we're going to actually, in order for, I don't know, we're going to go ahead and, the big companies out there are going to, fold and take your house, like, well, I can keep paying it, man. I can still keep paying my house payment. They're like, well, the bank fell through, so now that your house doesn't even belong to the bank that you were paying, it actually belongs to this rich guy over here. And he's like, all right, how about this? I'll rent it to you. It's my house. I'm going to rent it to you. And everybody else are like, well, we're struggling. We need to raise property taxes and whatnot. And then people are going to be like, wow, I can't afford property taxes. I'm going to just sell my house. You're going to be renting. You're going to be driving around in autonomous cars that are only going to take you where you can afford to go. Hitchhiking is not going to be allowed. I don't know. It could get real hairy, man. This is some of the stuff that, is, it could keep some people up at night, but I sleep pretty good. I'll fall asleep still. I won't have nightmares. I don't really have dreams. So, sleeping is fine. I can still get a good night of sleep, even in, the downfall, whatever. And I think we just have it really good in America right now, and it can become not really good really quickly. I mean, a lot of people have pointed towards it, but look at what happened during COVID. Somebody started a rumor or something about toilet paper, and like we had to barter with family members for toilet paper. Yo, can I get that 12 pack? We're gonna make dinner. You can come over here and eat dinner or something. I don't know. I don't think we actually had to barter for it, but I'm sure somebody did. Somebody during COVID times was like, I need to take a shit, but I need toilet paper. You know, some people are using their curtains. Some people are just dragging their ass along the carpet next to their dog. Sometimes dogs will teach us how to do things. Like, oh, I could just drag my ass along the carpet like that dog over there and leave streaks of shit. And then it recycles because the dog is going to go lick it up. Dogs love shit, especially human shit. They're like, ooh, I saw them eating a cheeseburger earlier and they didn't give me anything but lettuce. But if I eat that shit that my owner just drug his ass along the carpet, maybe it'll taste a little bit like a burger. Maybe that's a little extreme. I didn't ever do that. I don't think we ever really ran out of toilet paper, but we got close. But now, we're back to normal where I'm sitting down taking a shit, and I don't even check to see if we have toilet paper beforehand, And then I'm like, oh, shit, we don't. I got to hop in the shower to wash out my asshole. Just wash that motherfucker out. I got the head that you can take off of the shower thing and turn it, and it's got like a center blast. And you put 1 foot. I have like a single shower. You put, and it's got these little stools inside. Not stools, but just little cutouts you can sit on or whatever. You throw 1 foot up on the stool. You put that shower head to center blast, and you get it down in there, and you wash out all of that poo out of your ass crack. I mean, I do that normally, but if you don't wipe, like if I'm like I'm gonna turn the shower on to let it warm up before I hop in there. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I have to take a shit real quick too, and I'm like, you know what's cool? I don't have to fucking wipe. I can just stand up from this toilet, go in the shower, and I can just power wash my asshole real quick, and then I soap it up. I don't know how you guys shower, but I shower cock and asshole first. I don't know. Nobody taught me how to shower. I just developed that method on my own. And some people are like, you save that for last. No, buddy. I don't want that. I don't want anything from my cock or my asshole getting spread on any other part of my body. Wash that motherfucker out by hand. Wash your hands, and then start at your head. Then I wash my hair. But I wash my hands real good. Because I am brunette. I have brown hair. So I could technically rub a little bit of poo in my hair, and nope, I don't think anybody would notice. They might smell it though, but I don't know. I use Head and Shoulders, and I don't know. I don't use Head and Shoulders. I use just on my head. I wash my shoulders with body wash. So I don't know why Head and Shoulders was even a name that they were like, we got a shampoo here. What should we call it? They're like Head and Shoulders. Like, Tim, why shoulders? Why not just head? Head and beard maybe, or head and eyebrows. Well, your eyebrows are on your head. How about head and armpit? Sometimes I do use shampoo in my armpits. And if I got a nice bush going down below, I throw a little bit of Head and Shoulders down on my bush. Sometimes I will wipe a little bit on my arm hairs, because then my arm hairs will smell different than my body wash. Anyways, enough about me showering. Let's get on to something else. What else is going on, guys? Having a good day. Rode the bike. Still excited about that. I'm getting so close. I'm less than an hour from the shop. I'm less than an hour from hopping on my hog and riding that motherfucker home listening to Styx. STYX. Lorelei. Great song, by the way. Check it out. I'm so glad because last night I could have just gone to bed. I put the kids to bed and I was like, I better fix this fucking bike. I better go swap out the muffler and see if it runs any better. I actually don't think it runs any better. I just hear it less. It's just a lot quieter and way more muffled. I think it still doesn't run quite right, but I don't know. I need to get motivated on that again and try to figure out the fix. I've just taken it apart and put it together so many times that I'm like, I need an outside source to come in and help me figure this motherfucker out, is where I'm at. It's like, how about this? Sometimes that does bother me, and I'm sure it bothers you guys too. Like, if you have something and it hasn't been working for you and you've taken it apart and put it back together 75 times and you've tried just about, if not every single combination, and then you take it to somebody and they're like, oh, let's try swapping this out. It's like, I've done that. Let's try swapping it. I've done that. Let's do that. I've done that. How about this and this? I've done that too. I've done this and this and this. I've done that. I've done this. I've done everything. But that also comes off as not appreciating the help of others. So I try not to do that. Be like, yeah, let's try it out. And because sometimes, no matter how many times you've done it, somebody else does it twice or once, and it's just good. Everything's fine. There's no problems. Everything works the way it should. And then you feel defeated. You're like, man. So that's kind of where I'm at. I need an outside source. I need an outside technician to just either oversee me working on it to make sure I'm not missing something, and I promise I will respect your opinions and ideas because apparently none of mine have worked. I really would like to have an aftermarket muffler. I think it sounds wonderful, but I mean it's just really loud. I mean I would actually be okay with a cooler looking muffler with the same noise almost, but I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, maybe I just leave it stock. Maybe I just leave the muffler stock. I don't have to modify every single aspect of this motorcycle. I can just, everything else is modified. It's got a stock muffler. Yeah. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Man, oh man, oh man. What'd you guys have for dinner last night? How about you leave that in the comment section? Um, Yeah, what? Give me what? I don't want dinner ideas. I just want to know what you had for dinner. Also, if maybe I forgot something about the apocalypse in my theory, and you think of something else. So let me know in the comments. Leave your theories of what happens when the Earth is coming to an end. What are some things that we're not thinking about right now that might help us in the future? Uh, you know, if I would have known in 1998 how how much Pokemon card, I thought they were cool, but nobody gave a shit about them. If I knew to prepare, like, hey, if like future me could have went back to a kid in '98, hey, these this Charizard, or like I remember when I opened up the pack that had a Charizard in it, and I'm like, hey, stop, don't open that pack. Why? There's a Charizard in it. Oh, well, fuck, I want to open it. No, don't open it. Don't open it. Leave that baby sealed up. About 2020, I don't know. I don't know. Have they just been going up in price? I don't know. They're not going to be useful in the apocalypse, but maybe you can fill up your truck. You know, if you have a $8 million Charizard card in an unopened pack, maybe you can fuel up your car 3 or 4 times. I don't know how much gas is going to get up to, but I don't know. What is there any? That's another thing that I would love to hear from you, whether it's personal or just generic. What if you could go back to your 12-year-old self, or maybe 16? You pick it. If you could go back in time and tell yourself something, what would you tell them? Because like I've been through some tragic things, but I think that's made the person I am now. But having a Charizard card that's in perfect condition, I think I would still have all those tragic things happen, and I would have that also. Maybe like I don't know. I think the nasal issues I have is from breaking my nose, so maybe I would show up right in time, and instead of letting me fall on my face, let me fall on my side. I still need to fall. I have to fall. The world will be a totally different place if I don't fall, but let me fall on my side and not my fucking nose. Um, breaking my hip, everything happened the way that should have happened. Didn't have too many negative outcomes of me breaking my hip. That was a good time. My collarbone, I was so young, I don't remember that. So yeah, if I could go back to my 2-year-old self and save myself from getting knocked over by a big kid and breaking my collarbone, I would actually just look over the fence and watch it happen and probably laugh a little bit. Fucking dummy. Fell down, got pushed down, and fucking broke his collarbone. Uh, you know, um, what else? I would probably say, hey, man, I would show up right when I'm about to sell the square body to a guy at O'Reilly's. And I'd say, act like a buyer to my past self and then never show up to buy it. Maybe I would have been like, yeah, had a little bit more reflection and been like, I'm actually going to keep it. Never mind. But I showed up to O'Reilly's. I was waiting in line, and the guy in front of me bought something for his square body, and I said, "You want to buy another one?" He said, "Sure." And he followed me to my house, gave me $500, and left. If I would have had a little bit more time of reflection, maybe I wouldn't have done that deal, and I would have shown up again and been like, "Hey, how about you just put a little bit of money into that fucking thing? Keep that square body. Don't ever sell it." Some people would say like, oh, I'm gonna go tell you how to bet on these teams or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Even knowing, I think I would still like not do it. I'd be like, seems like a lot of work. I don't know. Like, no, man, the Chiefs are gonna win. Put all your money in towards it. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Hmm. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I could gone back and actually changed in my life. I think I'm actually in a really good spot with everything that happened. Yeah, don't fall on my nose. I don't think that let me fall, just not on my nose. Because I think that's why I have breathing issues these days. It's not that bad, but it's noticeable. Oh, like all right. I would also go back not that long ago, whenever I rolled that vac truck, and I was just talking on a different podcast, Walk Like a Mailman podcast. I was on their latest episode. Go check it out. Give them a like, give them a rate, give them a follow. Listen to the whole episode like I always do. And but no, I wouldn't have gone back there. But I would have gone back to when I rolled the vac truck. I would have said, "Hey, let me find my sunglasses," because that was my most concerning thing about rolling the vac truck was, God dang it, I lost my sunglasses, and they were like brand new. They were on my face. When I crashed, they fell off somewhere. So I would have dressed up like that UPS guy and just hang out in the ditch or whatever and wait for me to crash there, and then I would save myself so it would still have like basically the same timeline. But I'd be like, oh, here, I'm gonna get you out of this truck, and also here's your sunglasses, and that would have been cool. Zenny Optical has actually discontinued those sunglasses, so it would be really cool if I still had them. Go to Zenny Optical, not a sponsor. Go to Zenny Optical and type in the code Kletus for 0% off. And pick out a pair of sunglasses, reading glasses, sports glasses, shooting glasses, uh, Night vision goggles. I don't know if they have that, but they got polarized. It's pretty close. Um, the ones I have right now, I forget what they're called. They're called the Donk or something like that. I didn't really like the name of them, but they do look good. And I got the uh, amber tint. Everything looks like Mexico all the time. It's pretty badass. I love them. So go over to Zenni Optical. Safety glasses. Everybody needs some prescription safety glasses, prescription sunglasses, any type of glasses. All your glasses needs can be taken care of at zennioptical.com. Use the code Kletus in the checkout for 0% off. Thank you, Zenni, for providing me with glasses at my own expense. Back to the show. That didn't fucking work. Adios. Keep all 18 down. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.